welcome to the fourth expedition in the Aira expedition series. You guys are intrepid explorers out there, and tonight we are going on an expedition. I'm Janine Stanley. I am the let's see if I can remember my title today. The Explorer Community Manager. I don't know why I have so much trouble with my title lately.
It's every title, I think.
Yeah,
It's just,
exactly. It's all things to all people. I have with me tonight our shared ride driver tonight for our shopping expedition, Mr. Ryan Bishop. Hello, Ryan.
Hello, everyone. I look forward to talking to everybody today about going shopping, whether that be virtual or in store. I do it a lot, and who knows? Maybe we'll find something good tonight. I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Our tour guides tonight, we have Mr. Ron Malls. Hello, Ron.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys?
Woohoo! And Mrs. Stacy Gallegos. Hello, Stacy.
Hello, everybody. I am excited to be here and to talk about one of my favorite Aira tasks.
And from Agent Land, the rock star herself, Emma Vincent. Hello, Emma.
Hello.
All right. So this expedition is kind of a sort of final test of what we've learned in the previous three of our expeditions. Yeah, you won't be graded though. Well, maybe your wallet will be graded when we're done. But this particular expedition, Shopping with Aira, is going to put into play all of the skills that we've been talking about in our previous three expeditions. That's kind of the basic operation of Aira. We're going to talk a little hands-free, how to get around, especially if you're shopping at a physical location and you've got a cart and all that stuff. And we are going to talk about TeamViewer, using that to do a little online shopping and other ways that you can do that. So I am going to go through the group here and ask you guys. Let's see. Let's start with Ryan, since he was shopping. Well, his other half was shopping actually before the call. What do you usually go shopping for, Ryan? And is it at the physical location, or do you do a lot of online?
So when I do it, I do a lot of both. So I admittedly lately have been doing a lot more online shopping with TeamViewer. QVC is a nightmare and takes all of my great money because it's got those easy pay options. So there's been so many things there. However, before pandemic history, I was a big mall goer. Most of you know that I like to go to Bath and Body Works and get a lot of things from that store. We have a huge mall here down here, so I like to use agents to go find different stores to go look at different things. One of my most favorite things to use Aira for, especially, is when I'm in, say, a store like one of our access partners, Target. And the reason being is because you don't have to try to find somebody to get some assistance. If you want to read a size on a shirt tag, if you want to read a size on, on anything else, you can just call up an agent. And because it's an access zone too, you can get as much help as you need in there. And so Walmart's another good place, and then that really helps. And so I've done both, and I think that Aira is just the all for shopping, no matter how you look at it.
Awesome. Great. Well, now next we go to the ladies. Stacy, tell us about your shopping experience.
Well, as I mentioned in my introduction, shopping is one of my favorite tasks to work with Aira to do. It's all about efficiency, and online shopping, though I do have the technical skills to do it, sometimes the description of things that you want to get online are very vague. And so I have found working with an agent to be particularly beneficial when when wanting to really kind of get a full grasp of what what items are. When I one of my most exciting things was when we were planning our wedding. I did a lot of online shopping, looking at wedding dresses. I used Ira. I worked with an Ira agent to do our wedding invitations and design those. I love to do crafting, so I will go to a lot of craft sites and get Ira descriptions. A company that I buy a lot of craft stuff from, they have an annual and holiday catalog that comes out. And because I'm a demonstrator, I get to have a early bird sneak peek, if you will. And so what I have done with agents is get together with my crafting friends who are also demonstrators, and we will work with an agent and be able to go through the PDF inaccessible catalog to get descriptions of products and those kinds of things. I've also used Ira for in-person tasks, and it's very liberating to be able to go into a store, get your own shopping cart, and just go through the store as anybody else would. And surprisingly enough, I've shopped a lot at our Target here, and so when I go into the store, people they don't come up and try to interfere. They say when we had the glasses, they saw, oh, there's the lady that has the people that help her. So it's very liberating and a fun experience.
Awesome. Ron, how about you? You are a physical shopper. Let's hear a little
Yes,
bit
I
about your
am.
experience.
Well, you know what? I have to admit, I'm not a big shopper. I really don't enjoy it as much. But having Ira really makes it, a lot more convenient, a lot more easier. And also, it's also you almost like have a friend as well when you go shopping with Ira. And I tend to be, like as Ryan mentioned earlier, Target is one of our sites, and I really love going to Target. And enjoy shopping over there at Target. And and it's really nice to be able to go in there and and I used to be a shop by browse kind of a person by site, but it's nice to be able to go into the store and just have it describe in terms of the people, the layout of the store, etc. And then I'm able to really feel like it's kind of like a regular shopper. As I think as Stacy mentioned, the store I go to a grocery store here in San Diego, and they are so used to seeing me working with Ira that they've actually stopped coming over and saying, "Do you need any help? Are you okay?" Oh, so they know I'm being taken care of, I'm being assisted. And if we do need something, I'm usually able to have an Ira agent find a clerk or something if we need to find something in particular. And regardless if you're sighted or not, it's typically items that are really hard to find.
Oh, yeah.
So it's been really nice to have that. And the biggest thing again for me is just having that personal touch along when I go shopping. One of the things I like using Ira for, and I never used to do this before, is looking for greeting cards, like a birthday card or like anniversary card, and just being able to get a card on my own. And that's actually, as simple as that sounds, it's actually been very liberating to be able to do that. Because before I would either avoid doing it, or I would have to have like a store clerk, go and read it, go find a store clerk and have them read it to me. And now I can really just take my time. And usually working with an agent, we usually have a good time reading all the different cards. So, it's really made shopping in person a lot easier than maybe before.
And that is a great segue. Actually, that was one of the first shopping things that I actually did with Ira. We had to get a card for one of my husband's relatives that we didn't know all that well, but he sort of knew her a little bit. And he said, "You pick it out. I'm not even going to try it." And it was so nice because you know how you go up to the card display, and if you've got a store person with you, they're kind of uncomfortable. They don't have time to really go through all the cards, and or reading is not their thing, and it just is such an arduous experience. And with the agent, I mean, oh my gosh, we looked at different categories and different, got to actually look at all of the cards that were there, not just the few that really stood out right in front of us. So that was really great. Um, and I do want to say, folks, one thing that Ira is very strong about when we talk to our access partners like Target, like Walgreens, like Meijer and Wegmans, we say, Ira is one tool that not everyone will use. And even if people use it, that still does not mean that the business is out of the obligation to provide you with some help. So you can actually work with both a store person to help you and an IRA agent. And sometimes that's a good idea to check, okay, did this person get the right thing that I asked for? Am I following the person? Because now with social distancing, sighted guide is a little bit more difficult. And so that one is a hard one. So someone actually asked in our Zoom chat here if we have Walmart as one of our customers. Not yet. One of our access locations. Not yet. And I say not yet because at this point, our contest is still going on, our Celebrate Access contest, in which you can actually vote for who you would like to have Aira access for the rest of 2020. So be sure to vote on that. And so, Ron, when you're actually going around the store now, have you been to a store since COVID-19? Have you been actually physically shopping?
I know what, I have not as much. There's definitely a difference between pre-pandemic and our current situation.
Oh yeah.
And it's a lot more, but it definitely is a lot more of a challenge to go out into a store in person. What's been giving me a problem, and this is without using Ira, is the signage. Yes. The signage, the store routes, the layouts have changed, and there are some stores would prefer you to go to a certain path to get to a cashier or something like that, and I have no clue. I'm used to going to a certain route, and someone, especially if someone doesn't realize I'm low vision, doesn't realize like that I cannot see the sign that they're pointing at, or see the yellow tape that's they may have like cordon off. So I think that's one thing that I really like using Aira for, is to kind of, I've asked agents to kind of point out, I actually have asked agents to point out, okay, who's wearing a mask? How far are they from me? What's the layout of the store? So that's been probably the biggest change in shopping, like in person in a store. I've thought, I'm not much of a user of the online shopping, but I've thought about going and starting maybe doing online shopping with Aira, and just having my items, going into the grocery website or something and pre-ordering everything, and then going to the store and picking it up. And as come a compromise, because I do like to go out just to get out of the house.
Oh, sure. I think we're all at that point now where we all just want to get out.
Yes, get that cabin fever.
Yes. So Ryan, you have been out quite a bit too. How is this post-pandemic, or I guess it's not post because it's
so I can't really say we're post-pandemic here in Arizona, because we're really we're still right in the middle of pandemic, really, for us here. So,
unfortunately,
it's definitely a different situation. Going from Ubers where masks are required, and there's actually a new thing where you can report drivers who are not wearing masks, to going into stores and having to stand up. We'll talk about. Ron wants to talk about Walmart lines. I've done Costco lines, and I'll tell you, those are stories. But no, it's so interesting because a lot of stores, like I'll tell you guys, I just went to a Guitar Center about a week ago, and they've limited it to only 10 people in the store at a time. But the thing is now is that there's also signage about how many people are allowed to be in specific departments of the store. And so
Oh,
using
wow.
an agent to tell if there's anybody in a specific area, um, calling up an agent to really just to get that social distancing. How far away am I from a person? Am I, is there a person, has the line moved instead of using
Oh,
your
that's
cane,
that's
or
my big
you
one.
know
Has that
the
line moved?
has the
Yep.
line moved up yet? Can I go? And
Yeah.
you'd be surprised. Like, you know, um, I'll tell you, Ira has helped me keep my place in line.
Yep.
Because what'll happen is when people will see the cane,
Oh, they just go right around you.
I've had people
Yep.
try to go around me to get, to get whatever. And so having an agent to say, okay, there's somebody that's trying to come around you, the line's moved up. Oh, okay, well, let's move up too, so they can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really makes that difference to have that and to be able to call in and get the assistance, because and I'll say it, going to a grocery store, going to any store, I don't want to grab somebody's arm. I don't want to walk with them. I don't want them to walk around right now in this
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 era. Like I don't I don't want to get a shopper's assistant that I have to, hold on to a cart for. And really, truth be told, I want to get my stuff done quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll call Ira and get things done much faster.
Awesome. Now, Ron and Ryan, you guys are both partially sighted. So, what are some tips and tricks? Because I can tell you from the totals point of view, it takes a while. If you're, I tell people the first task with IRA, everybody thinks they want to do is go get their groceries. That takes a long time.
So I
But,
mix online and in store
mm-hmm,
for a lot of what I do. So what I do is I go to, like, for example, we'll pick on Target access location. Yes, you could go there and you could spend all the time in the world, but I can also pick on Kroger. This is another good one that is not an access location where
mm-hmm,
I want to conserve some minutes. You can go on their website, and as you're shopping and putting things on your cart, um, they have aisle numbers, and normally those are up to date. And so I can write down the item that I want to get and the aisle number with my agent. And then when I go to the store, I can just quickly go, okay, this is on aisle 7. All right. And then I'm tall enough to where I can, have my phone where the agents can see the aisle numbers on the end. They can get to the aisle 7. All right, cool. We're in here now. Here's our item. We're done. Next item. So that's definitely one tip. Um, to just plan yourself out. I know I'm gonna get a lot of that, but it's a grocery store, and I go in there and I smell the bakery, and I just want to get everything else. But knowing at least some of it does help. And I think, like, really just. So I
Yeah.
want to answer this one really quick.
mm-hmm.
So somebody asked in the chat, and I'm sorry I didn't catch your name, but if I'll look in a second and recognize you. Um, if you're in an Uber and your driver is wearing a mask, how do you know whether your driver is wearing a mask? I call an agent, and I have an agent who will track the ride before I get in the Uber already to tell me if the ride's on its way, how far away, maybe if they've passed me or whatever. So what I'll do is I'll spot check the driver as I'm getting in the car, and I'll ask the agent, hey, do you see this driver wearing a mask? And the agent will tell me right away, yes, they're wearing a mask, and no, they're not wearing a mask. And then I can make that determination, right? Do I want to get in the car? Do I want to ask them, if they have a mask? Do I want to, what I want to do? But they can usually see the drivers, because 9 times out of 10, drivers roll their windows down to find you, or they will, when you open the door, you can pass the phone in, and they can see your driver. So your agents will always happily tell you, and I'm sure, Emma, you can say this too. Agents are
Yeah, I just
more
took a
than
call like
happy
this today.
hmm to tell you whether or not somebody in line has a mask, whether a cashier has a mask, whether a driver that you're getting in a car with has a mask. They're happy to help you with those social distancing things.
Absolutely. Now, Ron, how about you? Do you have any tips and tricks for somebody maybe who has some partial vision? Because
Yes.
Stacy and I will talk about totals here in a
Okay.
bit. But what are your tips for somebody
Well,
who's
you know what? I think
partial vision?
Ryan really took a lot of my ideas. I think being really organized and I have to admit that I am not the most organized person, and really having the low vision has really forced me to be much more organized about how I shop. But one of the things I like what Ryan had mentioned is maybe doing because I was mainly I didn't do a lot of the online shopping or combine that. I basically just went to the store, had my list and then was able to work with an agent to find items that I'm looking for. But I have to say, having it organized, sorted out, and what Ryan had mentioned about sorting it by aisles, if possible, if you're familiar with the store, is a real nice thing to have to make sure that you're really efficient when you go into the store. I'll have a when I go and plan on like doing grocery shopping typically, I will usually have my list. I'll compose it on my iPhone, on the notes. Then I will typically text it or message it on the Aira app to the agent so they have the list available to them.
Mhm.
And the items are usually organized by by aisle. Like, so there is a certain pathway that I will usually follow through the store, and I've list my items accordingly to that. And occasionally I'll get diverted by a smell. As
Yes.
right, like I'll smell some muffins or something from the
Yup.
bakery, or that will
Uh-huh.
deviate me. Hey, we're looking for carrots. Well, you know what? The agent will mention, well, we're passing cookies, we're passing the bake
Oh
See, I
aisle.
tell you,
no.
agents are great to have, but when you have agents spot checking aisles for you, you're like, oh, I need that
I
too.
need that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're not as disciplined when you have that. But in a way, I kind I like that because like
And that's
when
not
I
a bad thing.
that's not a bad thing. But I like that because and that's how I used to shop with mainly I shop by instinct or whatever that looks good. I'll kind of go off my
Yeah.
list.
Mhm.
But having being
And
again like
seeing if things are on sale.
seeing on sale or
Well,
whatever.
and I won't even, and I won't divert it too much, but it's not even seeing if it's on sale, but seeing if the vegetables or fruit are ripe or not. If
Yes,
they're older,
yes.
if they're not. Um, Spot checking
Yes.
expiration dates on milk. I mean, things that really you could get a person in the store to do, but it's just so much more simpler.
It's more comfortable. I have to say, I feel
Yeah.
much more comfortable shopping with an agent than maybe with a store clerk. But as Janine had mentioned, it's nice when you're in partnership with everyone. When you go into a store, like I mentioned, my grocery store, they were so used to seeing me working with my phone, or even when their Horizon glasses were available, that they would still check in on me to see if I was okay, if I needed any help, because they were so familiar. And sometimes when I wasn't wearing my glasses or the phone, they're saying, "Where's your friend?" I said, "Huh? What do you mean, my dog? Oh no, the people that you talk with. Oh, Ira." No, I said, "No, they're not with me for this session." So it's funny. I think Stacy had mentioned that or something like that. That they're used to you working with the technology in general, whether it's with having the phone, or they see you maybe at the time with the classes, or even when you have a cane or a dog. It's all kind of it's all in unison that you work together to accomplish a task like shopping.
Now we're talking about you had mentioned comfort, Ron, and this is a great segue for Julie's question about have you ever felt like you were in a little bit of danger of anybody taking your phone, or has anybody ever taken your phone while you're kind of looking around, using it to look around in the store? And that goes down to hands free. How do you
Yes.
guys manage your phones when you're in the store?
Well, I use a mount. Now I use a chest mount.
Mm-hmm.
And the chest mount's the one I use. It's a very I think in an earlier episode, Janine, you mentioned the GoPro chest mounts. And I use
Yep.
one that's very similar, and the phone is pretty. I mean, there's like almost like a vice that holds the phone, so it's
Mm-hmm.
hard to really pull out that phone. So I'm pretty comfortable, and the phone is really held close to my chest, so I'm not especially in the store, I'm also not as leery about having the phone or being loose with the phone. But the chest mount, I find that I really like. At first, I wasn't sure about using a chest mount, but I like it, and because it's mounted and it makes a stable video for the agents. And also, if I need to, for instance, I need to look at something or have the agent look at something closely, I can just really remove the phone really easily from the mount, and be able to grab use it with my hand and position it in a way that maybe the agents can see better. Then I'm able to replace that phone back onto the mount. So that's really been nice.
Excellent. How about you, Ryan? Do you go hands free in the store, or how do you manage the cart
Sort
and the
of.
cane and the?
Yeah, so I will go hands free on a lanyard pouch sometimes. Sometimes I will just hold the phone, depending on what I'm doing. Either way, and I'll touch base on this, and I'll touch base on a question that was in chat too at the same time. When I put my phone in a lanyard pouch, I have something that kind of holds the phone on the inside of it, so it's not that easy to grab. You kind of have to get it from the top. At the same time, when I'm holding the phone in my hand, I'm holding the phone with my thumb on the top of the phone, or my pointer finger on the top of the phone, my thumb wrapped around one side and my fingers wrapped around the other side, and I keep so that way you can't very easily grab the phone out of my hand either. The question that I'm covering is, am I worried that somebody will take the phone out of am I worried that somebody will take the phone out of my hand? Sometimes also I use AirPods, and sometimes I will also use the wired headphones. So it really depends on what I'm doing and where I'm at. Now, when I'm using a cart, I've gotten fairly skilled with holding the phone with one hand and pulling the cart with another if I need to. However, I will most of the time use a pouch when I'm using and go hands-free when I'm trying to pull a cart down the store, especially if I'm trying to use a cane, just because it is safer for me and everybody involved to do that.
I know that feeling, having taken out an end cap the last time I was at the store.
Wonderful.
I was trying to do the cane and the cart, and my phone slipped, and I went to grab it, and it was just.
See, that's where I think using the wired headphones helps out a lot too, because that cord does save you from having to not find your phone.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
So, let's see. So Stacy, how about you going into stores? How do you do it? Either hands-free or, guide dog, cane, cart, all of that stuff. And Stacy is.
Do we have Stacy?
Yep, I think she has to unmute.
She back? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, well, while Stacy is unmuting, I will tell you how we do it in my family. My husband is partially sighted.
All right. Hello, everybody.
There we go.
Right.
having some technical difficulties.
No worries.
So I have used a lanyard when in the store, particularly if I'm going to be navigating a shopping cart. I've also used, obviously we don't have the glasses any longer. So when we did have the glasses, that was a positive situation. Pop sockets, I know we've made mention of these before.
Yes.
Useful pieces of, yeah.
They are nice little tools to have and can be very helpful if you are concerned about somebody just coming up and swiping your phone. A pop socket makes it so you can have a better grip on your phone. When I have gone into the store with a guide dog, my hands are obviously a little more full. And so I would have to tell you that you would definitely want to have a lanyard when you're going and having to manage a dog and try to manage a shopping cart. There's really no other way to get around that.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely have started using the neck mount if I'm shopping because for me, the lanyards just don't work. I have trouble with my neck
Mhm.
and I'm also
Mhm.
short. And so having that lanyard, I'm always having to lift up the phone. And with the neck mount, I can simply reach up because the neck mount is holding the phone right kind of out from my collarbone about I'm making these shapes with my hands, guys. Um, but it's probably about 3 inches out from my collarbone. And so I can just tip the phone up a little bit if I need to
Neck
because
mounts
it's
are
on
useful.
Yeah. I have to say, I really, I really have gotten to like the harness that I use when I go shopping because I usually work a guide dog. I work my guide dog. Then I have my little hand basket on the side. Then I have my chest mount, so the camera is mounted. So I'm able to really go efficiently around and go shopping. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if I need to really get have to position the camera in a certain way, it's really super simple to have me just remove the camera, then bring the camera closer to whatever item I'm looking at. But having that harness, I didn't think I would like the harness, but I really enjoy it. Maybe compared to a lanyard, I find the lanyard, that sometimes I don't. The swaying bothers me when
the
it's
swing.
swaying back
Yes.
and it
That's
kind of
my
annoys
problem is
me.
the
Yeah.
swing.
And
Yep.
then I usually am using like a Bluetooth headset as well. Because I'm always when I've used a corded headset or something, I've gotten tangled. And when you would tangled in a basket and my dog, so it's a nice clean way to navigate inside.
So when I use the corded headset, just as a tip, I take the cord and I put it through clothing.
Ah,
That way it's not getting tangled, and there's a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
of slack at the end that allows my phone some navigation room. But the main majority of the cord is hidden underneath clothing, so it's not as tingly as
yeah.
normal.
It's wirely.
right.
Yep. I love the idea of pop sockets, though, Stacy. That's a good one.
Yes. Pop sockets are amazing. And these folks, if you were not with us for our call on hands free, pop sockets are little round things that stick onto the back of your phone. And then you can pull them out to make a sort of knob that you can hold on to. And it makes it much more secure to hold your phone. It also makes it a lot harder for people to take your phone and just kind of rip
That
it out of your
adhesive on the
hand.
back of the pop sockets are
Yeah.
One other
That
thing, one other thing I will add about pop sockets is depending on the kind of shopping cart you have, you can actually connect the pop socket to your cart
I see where
in
you're
such a way
going.
that you're able to navigate and that kind of thing. So that's
Now
kind
I
of a
hadn't thought about that, but now I can totally visualize that. That would
Yeah,
be
I
me too.
learned that from my husband when
uh-huh.
he went shopping for Valentine's Day one time and discovered that. So
Oh, nice. Now, in my family, I don't know about your family, everybody else here, and then we'll ask Emma for some tips and tricks from Agent Land. But I know Stacy in our family, what we do, we split up. If we go shopping together, we usually split up the list, and I will go to the aisle where we have a lot of choices of things that we might want, and then my husband will go get all the staples, all the stuff he knows where it is. He goes and gets it every week. But if it's something that we might want to look at all the different choices of, then I'll go with an agent. And don't send me down the tea aisle. Don't send me down the ice cream aisle. The
Of course, I was
gluten-free
just going to make
aisle.
the comment that you do that just so you can go to the bakery, right?
I do. Well, yeah. The bakery's usually kind of the deli is my weakness. The deli and all the pre-made food is my weakness. So especially if they have grilled vegetables, I'm right there. But yeah, we found that works really well. Or like if I'm going with him, I will be back there with an agent kind of following him, and then he'll do a spot check. Hey, ask the agent what this is and identify the thing. And he's got enough vision that he, goes by the color and the packaging and stuff like that. And then we'll use another device, the ID Mate, to look at the barcodes and stuff. But if that's not registering or whatever, then, we call in the agent and we bring up that little device. So Emma, how about from agent land, tips and tricks from the agent side of it? What makes it easier to do shopping in a physical location?
The thing that first comes to mind is the type, well, I guess it depends on what type of shopping they're doing. If you're doing kind of strolling through the aisles, you want to see what's there, maybe find some new products, or if it's for clothing and that kind of thing, you're just browsing. That I would say is making sure that we have a good view of everything around you. So making sure that if you do have a chest mount or a lanyard, that we're, able to get the best view to tell you what's around you, as well as making sure that we have a good distance between you and the aisle. So when we're looking at individual items, we want to be real close to it, maybe a few inches away. But if we're just kind of browsing and looking at everything, taking a few steps so away from it and making sure you're able to see everything can be really helpful. Some of my tips for when you're doing more quick shopping, you got a few things on your list and you want to get in and out, I would say is, like you guys said before, sending us the list ahead of time. That way, sometimes, the way that grocery stores are set up, we can keep our eye out for the lemons when you're looking for potatoes. And, that really helps us move things along. So communicating with us ahead of time, or right when you get to the store about what you want, is a great thing for us, so we're able to best assist.
So we can send you our list, and hopefully I'm a little louder out there for folks now. There we go. But we can send you our list ahead of time then? That would be awesome.
Yeah, so there's two ways to do that. One is to call before you go to the store and call in, let us know, this is your list, and we'll add it to your folder. And the other option, or we can also, some stores have their, inventory online. So we're even able to kind of go through it and let you know, like you guys said before, what kind of items they have, make a more condensed list. And then we can save it in your folder for you. Then you can call back later, let the next agent know that you have a list in your folder, and then they can take you through the store and get everything you need. And I just helped someone today they were using someone to help them navigate through the store in addition to using Aira, but they wanted me to make sure that they had remained a safe distance away from each other, and that other people were not getting too close to them as well. So that was a great way to use Aira for staying healthy as well as shopping.
Absolutely. And that is a great point to end our physical shopping spree on. Oh, now the fun begins. So Stacy, we're going online. So what are some of your favorite places to shop online, and how do you deal with that experience? Pick a product and say you want to shop for it.
So one of my favorite places to go shopping is, I like to go to Sizzix, SIZZIX.com. And it is a papercraft site. Normally, if I were doing this task, I would do it with TeamViewer because I have login credentials, but we'll just log in as a guest. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yep, we sure can.
So, Emma, if you will go to Sizzix.com.
Absolutely.
And I understand they have their Chapter 4 Tim Holtz products out.
Oh, wow.
And just to can you spell that one more time? I just want to make sure I have the spelling
Yep,
right.
it's SIZZIX.
Perfect. On that website now. And we're looking for the chapter for.
Yep, chapter 4, dyes. And dyes are, it's a little misleading, but for our audience, dyes are, they are metal, kind of like stencil things that you use with a machine called a Big Shot, and they actually cut out shapes. So they have dyes of all kinds, and that's DIES. And so,
oh, I should be sharing my screen now. I apologize. I
was going
forgot
to say,
to do
so
that.
for those of you guys that don't know, Stacy's actually asking Emma to live agent for her here on the
live agenting,
live
which is always
on
cool.
here.
Yeah.
So now I'm sharing my screen, and I am on Sizzix.com, and I just went to the die cutting section. Oh, we just got a pop-up that asked for 15% off your entire order. But anyway, so there's an option to go into die cutting and just look at, there's 4 different categories. One that's called bigs, then thinlits, then framelits, and then dies and stamps. Dies with stamps, excuse me.
Yep. So I want to go to the thinlits, and I know that there's a search box where you could type in balloons.
Yeah, so I just went to thinlits and I'm looking for, let's see, balloons.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. I might have, I spelled balloons with 1 O. I apologize. Here we go. I was wondering why I wasn't getting any results.
That's
those double letters.
Glad that happens
So
to
now-
somebody else.
Now here we are looking at the balloons. It's giving you 10 products, 20 projects, and 2 videos with the search from balloons.
Okay, so I'm going to describe to you what I'm looking for. And this is a good way that an agent and an explorer work together as a team, which is something I know in the past I've mentioned that I'm a firm believer in. I think when agents and explorers can work as a team, the session is going to be flawless and efficient, and everybody's going to leave happy. So with the balloons, especially your money, my husband says. So with the balloons, what I'm looking for is it's a set, and one of the balloons, it's a heart, and it has the word love. And then there's a bow. There's a couple of streamers, one which is curly, and then one that kind of, it's long and it kind of bends in. And then you have another balloon that's kind of, it's bigger, like when you blow up a balloon, kind of it's tapered at the bottom and then it flares out as you blow up.
Okay, so first off, I see the ones that I'm seeing with balloons. I don't see any that have a heart-shaped balloon with the word love in it, but I do see one that has a heart-shaped balloon and then a yellow outside balloon with confetti in it, and then a blue balloon, which is a Framelits die set 8-pack. That one is currently out of stock, but that's the one that looks the most like what you're seeing. I'm wondering if I look in the die cutting thinlits, if I'll be able to find it, and maybe it just doesn't come up with the word balloon.
You could, or if that one's out of stock, it's possible that you might be able to tell, because I know specifically the set that I'm looking for definitely has a bow. It has a die that cuts out a bow. It has a couple of ribbons, so one's more straight.
This might be it then. I see the bow. I see the squiggly line that makes the balloon like strength. I see the heart, and then the outside of the balloon, like you described, and then the other balloon. So I think this might be the one. I'm just unfortunately out of stock.
And you said that's out of stock. Okay. Is there a way? Go ahead.
I was going to say you can check availability at your local retailer.
Okay.
Oh,
And
I
so
just
what I
clicked that.
and so what I would do a lot of times if I'm on a paper crafting site is I will have an agent send me the link for something. So would you, Emma, could you send me the link for this particular set? And what happens with that is I would get that email, and at a later date, I can either go back on my own, or I can call, in a week or so and check to see if that item's available. And then I have the link right there. And so it's all about efficiency. So I'm kind of helping the agent out by gathering information and sharing with them beforehand.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So then I would be able to cut and paste that website, put it in an email, and send it on over.
Awesome. And I routinely do this with things on Amazon. If I'm looking for different things, then I can actually go ahead and have that information. Sometimes I will get the description of the item from the agent and along with the link, and then I can deal with it later. Or if Stacy had wanted, she could have also done a team viewer session, which I've done pretty frequently when I'm looking for something in particular on a website, or when I am, as happened to me recently, on a website, I get all the way to the payment part and one control is not labeled. And I've put in my credit card twice, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to buy like 6 of these. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to fire up TeamViewer, and I'm going to get my agent on the phone, and we're going to click on this thing that I can't seem to click on and get this purchase done. And so that is definitely another way to do your online shopping. Ron and Ryan, anything to add here to online shopping?
Well, I think I'm not as much of an online shopper, but I think it's a good way to, in addition to shopping in person, I think someone had mentioned about, organizing your list, whether it's grocery shopping or going to, the miscellaneous kinds of things like going to Target, and having that list prepared, online on the site or on the website, and being able to even place an order and just pick it up. And I think that's a nice way to kind of blend online and the physical shopping as well.
Great. And actually, and I'm sorry, folks, that you can't hear me. I am having so much trouble with my microphone tonight. So sorry about that. But actually, we have one of our very experienced tour guides here on in the Zoom room with us. Ryan, let's see if we can. Tiffany, can you raise your hand? Because I want to hear from Tiffany about her shopping experience as well. So we will bring Tiffany, and here she is. Hello, Tiffany. And we will unmute her.
Hello.
Hello. So tell us a little bit about your shopping experiences, both physical and online. Is there anything that we missed here?
So one thing I like to do with Target, and I utilize Target a lot because I can walk to it, which I love.
Nice.
And it is an Aira access location point. Yay. But what I'll do with an agent is I'll ask them if they have the app. And if so, if they could log into my, search my zip code for Citrus Heights, California, because within the app, it actually tells you the aisle numbers to go to if I'm looking for particular items. So that is very helpful when looking for items that I have a list for. And I do typically either send the list ahead of time or just as I'm getting there, I will shoot them a quick email with my list of items, and then they can help browse the Target app by searching a couple of those items and then finding the aisle, and then we can quickly navigate to those aisles.
Great. That is a great pet. And I know that Home Depot also has that type of thing in their app. You can search by zip code, pull up your particular store because they're all different. So definitely look if you're going to a physical location of someplace to see if their app has that info. Awesome. And we are getting some great reviews here for the Target app. So if you all, Tiffany gave us a great suggestion here for the Target app. How about hands free? How are you handling your phone and everything in the store, Tiff?
So I do everything with a lanyard, and I have no problems utilizing the lanyard. Mine doesn't sway all that much. It does, a little bit, but the agents are used to that. So I use my cane, and then if I need a cart, I'll either do a little hand cart or a larger cart and then pull it behind me, which assists with those kind of things. As the folks have said, the fact that the agents can tell you how far you are from other people and that social distancing is a real key factor right now.
Yeah, good to mention that. So, Ryan, what say we open it up to our lovely audience here on Zoom and see if folks have any questions or
So we did
comments
have a
about.
question from a phone
Okay.
number who's been waiting here for a minute.
All right.
It is, and I'll call your number out here. The last four is 6028. You are
All
now allowed to
right.
talk.
Okay, what is the best option in your opinion for somebody with cerebral palsy? Because I don't have good hand movements.
Ah, that is a great question, ma'am. And I would say probably either a neck mount if you are able to deal with that around your neck. I know some people that's really difficult if you have arthritis or anything, but the neck mounts are actually fairly light. Um, and I would say that would be what I would probably prefer. Um, Anybody else have any suggestions?
I just wanted to say that, of course, online shopping, we can definitely take then you wouldn't have to worry about the phone at all. And so making sure we set up, we get the food that you want picked out or the clothes that you want picked out properly. And then as well as making sure the delivery is done and then finding, making sure that your package is at your house and those types of things. So even not actually going to the physical stores and needing to worry about holding the phone, but there's other things that we can do to assist as well.
Right, but I'm not good with computer skills, really.
Yeah, so that's a perfect example of one thing that we could assist with. So you don't even need a computer. You can just call into us. We can use our own computers to shop websites for you. And then when you want to check out, you'll just give us your information and then just wait for it to arrive.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And since the agents actually go through a VPN to get to you, all of that information goes away when the call goes away. So no worries about that. So that's a great suggestion, Emma. And you brought up another thing here, the contactless delivery, the dreaded where's my stuff? My front yard is all torn up right now as you enter my house because we're doing some landscaping. And so finding those packages where they actually put them can sometimes be a chore. So are you doing a lot of that now?
Absolutely. Making sure that we find where the things are so you don't have to feel around or anything like that, especially if some people are picking up their groceries at the grocery store itself, then helping with the contact list there as well is helpful.
Oh, great. And we have
Absolutely.
Hannah with
All right,
us
we're going to hear
now.
from
Hello,
Hannah.
Hannah.
Hello, yeah, hi. It was really nice to join your last meeting about I forgot, I think it was hands-free. Yeah. So I was wondering what's the difference between a neck mount and a chest mount because I've never really heard of them before and like I'd like to know what they are and like what they're made of and yeah.
Sure. So, actually, I'm going to let somebody with a better microphone tell you guys that.
Oh, I can hear you.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So the chest mount is a harness. It literally, you put your arms through and it has straps that go on your shoulders and around your chest. And then
Oh,
there
wow.
is a piece in the front that holds your phone. And there are models for men and women. And you want to make sure you get the right model because they fit better and there's not a whole lot more to say about it, but they will hold your phone, often on a little swivel, so you can move your phone around on the chest mount. And then a neck mount is typically a piece of really flexible wire. It's kind of thick, it's like tubing. And it is, if you have a guide dog, it's like the thickness of your guide dog harness handle, the shafts of the handle. It's what it reminds me of. And it goes over your head. It usually has padding around the back. So it's nice and comfortable to wear, fairly lightweight. And then on the ends of it that stick out in the front, away from your body, there's a phone swivel like on the chest mount. And those are quite nice as well. So those are a couple choices to go hands-free. But we are going to have our hands-free show up here on our YouTube channel. So you will be able to listen to that particular episode and watch it. I think we've got our videos on that one. And we will actually, and we may do another episode actually showing some of these things in our next round. So now we have a question about the 5 free minutes and not to get disconnected. Well, shopping with the 5 free minutes is probably not your most efficient thing to do, because we really only want you using the free 5 minutes, a couple times in a row, if that. It's for super short tasks. Now, if you're in the store and you're doing great, but you find you just need a little bit of information, that's when the free 5 minutes comes in. But for an entire shopping trip, you're going to be calling back a lot. All right. And now we have.
Right, so we have Carla Davis.
Hello, Carla.
I am asking to unmute you now.
Okay, and you should have a button to unmute. All right. Let me get that button.
Right, well, I'm going to give you your chance.
Can you hear me now?
There she is.
Can
there
you hear me
go.
now?
We sure can, Carla. Hello.
You mentioned that you could. Hi. You mentioned that you could message your list to the person in advance, or message information about the product in advance. I know there's a messaging button in there, but what's the fastest way for me to get the information to the Aira agent so that they could see what I had, the products that I needed?
Personally, I would say email, but I'll let Emma answer that better as an agent. But I personally would email.
I would say whatever is between sending it via the app messaging function or email, whatever one of those is easier for you. It's about the same for us. So if you want to compose it before you give us a call in your email and then give us a call and send it right over, you can do that, or you can do it, of course, with the Aira app as well. But either one of those is going to be how you're going to do it. Unfortunately, you do have to be in a call with us to send us that list, but we can then save it to your folder and you can call back when you're at the actual store. But there is not currently a function of sending it without being on a call.
So what's the email address? Is it Aira?
It's whatever. So whoever answers your call, they'll have their own individual Aira email. So if it was me, it would, be my name at aira.io. So if you called and wanted to send me your list, then I would give you my email. So in that sense, like Ryan said, it does take a little bit longer. But so the app is a little bit more direct, but some people prefer to use email. It's all the same to us, whatever works best for you.
And I do want to reiterate really, really quickly, and I know we're coming up at the top of the hour, but we keep mentioning this Aira folder. And so if you're not familiar with what that is, the agents will store, each explorer who asks an agent to save anything has a folder that we can store items into that can only be accessed when you call in to Aira. And so what happens is when you call in, the agents have the ability to then access this folder that pops up when you call in and see what other agents have stored in there for you. And so then any agent is able to then access the information you called in and placed previously. So in a way, it's kind of like your own Aira knowledge vault, where you're able to go in and have anything that you need that you've asked an agent to save for you, whether that be a link, whether you want somebody to store a password for somebody else to use on TeamViewer, whether you want to save one of these item lists and that you're emailing to an agent and have another agent be able to access it later. So that's what that folder is, if people are
And
not
I just
familiar.
wanted to answer one question really quick from Nikki
Thanks.
Heck on YouTube, and they just said that they didn't know that we could help them pick out clothes as well. Yeah, so if you want a different style of clothes, let's say you're going to a wedding and you want to buy a dress that looks a certain way, and you don't have to have the item already picked out. We're here to help you shop and for fun and pick out things as well, and give you descriptions on what things look like.
Awesome. We also had a question from Chris Cook. Can you make subfolders in your Aira folder, Emma? Can you guys do that?
Absolutely. We have a lot of space to do whatever you need. Some people have 30 folders, so don't feel like we're keeping too much information in a storage sense. That we can make folders for if you have a school folder and a work folder and a fun folder, whatever you need, we're able to assist. A lot of people have us store recipes for them, so as they call in various times throughout their recipe making, we're able to go to the same recipe. So lots of things like that. There's lots of possibilities.
Great. And Ashley had a final question here about knowing what to click on in the app to use minutes other than the free 5. And that would be buying a minute plan. And you can look up more information about those under the More tab where it says purchase a plan, I believe is the wording, or you can call our customer care folks and they can walk you through the steps of actually buying a plan. And we have a number of discounts out there right now. So, for example, if you are a member of the American Council of the Blind or the National Federation of the Blind, they have special discounted plans.
If you're a veteran,
if you're a veteran, let's see. Those are the ones we have right now. But also, if a friend refers you, Ashley, and stay tuned, everybody, because on Saturday we've got some big news for you about referrals. So, we are actually nearing the top of the hour, as Ryan said, and we will close out our expedition of shopping. This has been really fun. We could talk all night about shopping, trust me.
Oh, yeah, I could. I really could.
Absolutely.
One of our favorite calls from the agent perspective. So please feel free to call in anytime with shopping. This is something that's really fun.
Oh, good.
If we didn't
buy new towels,
get your
so
questions answered, because I do see there was at least 9 hands raised.
Oh my
Always,
goodness.
guys, call your agents, and they are more than happy to answer any questions that you have. That's definitely a good use of the free 5 minutes. If you just have a couple questions and you wanna get those answered. Especially if you're thinking about getting something more to go shopping, or you want some more ideas, give your agents a call. They're more than happy to answer any questions that you have in regards to shopping.
Yep, absolutely. And so, our next expedition next week, we're going to be talking about Aira at work. So, if any of you out there are using Aira in your workplace, we would love to hear from you. You can write to support@aira.io. That's kind of our general email box, and just let them know you have questions or comments for the webinar next week. We are going to have Paul Schrader join us and our agent Emma and our intrepid tour guides to be talking about Aira at work and how we've made some accommodations and how we have helped people get Aira accommodations in their workplaces, and some of the tips and tricks to using Aira at work and working with your employer, and some of the things that people actually do with our service at work that are really creative. So I would love to thank our rideshare driver tonight, Ryan Bishop. Thank you so much, Ryan. Ryan is the man behind the YouTube. Yes.
You guys are so welcome, and thank you guys so much for coming. I'm so happy to be able to come and talk to you guys each week about different ways to use the service, and happy to be here and find
We
new ways to shop.
We are totally excited. And our tour guides tonight, Stacy Gallegos and Ron Malls. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. It was wonderful.
And our cameo appearance from Tiffany. We want to thank her. And finally, thank you to Emma Vincent from Agent Land.
Thank you once again.
Yay.
Super fun.
Yeah. So our next call will be on Thursday, August 6th. It's August already, people.
Wow.
And August is going to be a huge month at Aira. So stay tuned because it all starts on Saturday. But next Thursday, Aira in the workplace. Until then, I am Janine Stanley, your Explorer Community Manager with Aira, and we will see you next week. Stay safe, everyone.